Now let's practice writing multiplication sentences when looking at arrays. So we're going to write a multiplication sentence for this array. So first, let's look at the array. How many do we have in each row? Well, let's look at our rows. 1, 2, 3 rows. Rows go all the way across. Remember, rows go left to right. So now let's look at our columns. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. We're going to look right here and we're going to write the number 4. So our multiplication for this sentence, for this problem, this array, would be 3 times 4 equals, and then we would count them all together, and that equals 12. So remember, we find our factors by looking at the rows times the columns, and that gives us our multiplication sentence. Here are 2 more arrays. Write a multiplication sentence for these arrays. Always look at the rows first. So, in this array, how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. And then let's see how many columns we have. When we look in our columns, we have 1 column, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 4 rows times 5 columns, and that equals 20. Well, let's look over here at this one. How many rows do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 rows times, let's look at our columns, 1, 2, 3. Oh, we only have 3 columns. So we have 6 rows times 3 columns, and that equals 18. And we know that because we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that gives us 6 times 3, 6 times 3 equals 18. So let's just review one last time. Our question was, how can we use arrays to model multiplication and find factors? We learned that in arrays, columns go up and down, so all columns are going up and down, and rows go left to right. So when we look at a problem and we want to find the factor, we need to look at the rows and then the columns. Rows and then the columns. So let's look at this particular one. How many rows do we have? We have 1, 2, 3 rows. So we have 3. Then how many columns do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. That gives us our other factor. So we have 18. The most important thing to remember is your columns and your rows. Columns up and down, rows left to right, and use the number of each to make your multiplication sentence. Now you can use arrays to model multiplication.